Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Make sure you get a snack, make sure you get a drink, relax, and we're gonna enjoy this vlog together. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hey guys, so we have finally, oh my gosh, arrived to Dubai. Oh my days, that journey felt like it was never ever going to end. It was literally like 7 hours and 30 minutes or whatever. So my advice, if you're flying to Dubai, is make sure you have your snacks. Make sure you get one of those pillows for your neck so you can sleep, because basically you can't really do much. You basically just sleep, eat, wake up, walk around, use the toilet, read a book, watch Friends like I did, and that's it. Anyways, so one of the interesting thing I love about their airport is just the intentionality. As you can see, in the clips there, they have like, gold pillars, silver pillars. They have like a picture of like their president or whatnot. And I love the fact that, so when you walk out, you can get into like a mini train, which is kind of like for a minute or two, and then that kind of brings you right out. So I'll let you enjoy the journey to the hotel. Okay, guys, so I'll quickly let you know just a tip for anyone who's kind of planning their trip to Dubai. As you can see there, their taxi there is Bolt. Okay, so if you can download the app before you leave your country or resident, so that when you get there, you can get into Bolt and you're off to your hotel. Now, honestly, what we did was we kind of, covered our travel, transport and stuff all together. So we went with a company because of safety. We've never been to this country before. So I would also advise that as well if you're kind of like uncomfortable with, the taxi bolt there, as you can see in front. So just make sure that you are careful about the types of taxis that are taking you to your hotel. So, guys, another thing would be not to get into a taxi like right outside of the airport, because you actually don't know where and who these people are. You don't know where they're going, you don't know who they are. So, I wouldn't honestly trust that. Again, I would recommend Bolt, the taxi. There are places there you can track name, ID, and stuff like that. And at least you know that you're covered that way. Another thing is just be careful when you get to their airport because there is a lot of people trying to sell you stuff, trying to, recommend, this and that. So I would recommend just to be very, very, very careful. Do as much planning as you can before you leave your home country, because that would save you from getting into the hands of, fraudulent people or, criminals and things like that. Not to scare anyone, of course, but it's just a tip. Okay. All right, guys. So if you know the name of this building, put it down in the comment section, okay? And I will pin your comment and give you a shout out. All right. Make sure that you are actually paying attention to the way the buildings are, because myself and hubby were really mind blown at how, everywhere just looks like, you're in the future. Look at the gold, look at the silver, look at how high the buildings are, look at how, close they are together. It is speaking something, it is saying something. And honestly, I think it is worth paying attention to, because I feel like being in this kind of environment, it definitely helps, your thinking and your mindset. The first thing that came to my mind is, think big. I'm like, these people who created all these buildings that you can see, There are clearly people who think big. There are clearly people who aren't afraid to do, different designs and common designs and things like that. In our vlog next week, we're going to explore more about, the old Dubai and the new Dubai. And we're going to talk more about, why the government actually support people who think big. So I kind of find that very, very, very interesting. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. And again, don't forget to like this video and share it to a friend who might be traveling to Dubai in the near future or soon, so that they can get some nice juicy tips and some location to visit. All right. So, guys, at this point, I don't even know what is happening with our driver, but he seems to be like in a hurry somewhere. I'm like, why is this guy going so fast all of a sudden? And then I realized that, they all actually drive really fast, which is not good at all. So I think coming from the airport, going into like, the main roads or whatnot, the motorways or whatever, everyone is kind of like on their best behavior and they're driving normally and stuff. But I think once they start coming closer to like city center and things like that, I feel like there's this crazy like driving that starts. So just be kind of aware of that. Okay, guys, so after a few hours of sleep, we just thought we would kind of get out and look at, the environment and, of course, find something to eat because it was actually so late. Like the minute we dropped our bags in our hotel room, the heat, the change of environment, we were just knocked out. We kind of thought we would sleep for like an hour, but, we just knocked out and it was so late. But one thing that you need to know about Dubai is, at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, some stores are still open. A lot of like food places are also still open. Even like we found a pharmacy that was also still open, at this time of the night, which is crazy. You wouldn't really have that in Europe, which is one thing that kind of, sets um, Dubai apart. Okay, guys, so another thing that I want to really point out here is the fact that there is this constant like sound and noise 24/7 in Dubai, and you don't really have that, in Europe. So if you're coming from Europe, just bear that in mind, okay? But, myself and hubby really liked it because it kind of showed that, the place was alive, there's things going on. So, I kind of took it okay. But just to note if you're someone that kind of gets the ick with, noise all the time. Don't do it.
I'm not going to press stop. Yeah. Yeah, that's for us. Yeah.
זה לא עולה כסף אם הוא רוצה כסף. על מה? Second tabak.
Hey guys, so I was told by one of the staff that you can get one of this, I think it's called a henna. And honestly, I would not recommend you guys to get this done in the desert safari because I feel like, it was smudging all over the place. It kind of smudged on like my cloth, I think, and also hobbies as well. And it was really hard for me to like hold my bag, eat my food properly. So I probably shouldn't have done this at night time. But I think, maybe during the day, get it done before like evening time, it'll kind of dry out and you'll be ready for, going out or whatever. So yeah. And with that, guys, we've come to the end of this video, but not to worry because next week we're going to have a part two because, there's just so much to see and so much to kind of talk about. Thank you so much for watching. If you've watched to this part, then well done. But here's a little blooper for you.
I don't like this.
Why?
As soon as you sat down there, I'm like, what the flip am I allowing you to do?